dollars eating shrimp. $5 met some girls from Guatemala, now they trying to holler.
Now before they wouldn't bother, now I'm trying to be a scholar, cause she giving all the knowledge to me.
Knowledge to me.
Doing her work every night of the week.
Night of the week.
Like she chillin' up at college with me.
College with me, but we cruising, man. Rolling up at 430. Kush same color as a Kobe Road jersey, or a throwback worthy. Giraffe ass high, fresh breeze just passing us by. Cause I'm cruising on a Sunday afternoon. I got my good shoes on, ain't got no bad news. Here's what you say to the lady. Let me squeeze ya, oh, let me hold ya, oh, let me squeeze ya, oh, let me hold ya. Why? Cause I don't wanna leave this party, baby, without you. What you waiting for? Hop in the ride. Okay. What you waiting for? Hop in the ride. So I arrive at a party at 9. I reside beside Sim, think when we fly, time's on our side. But look again, then it's 11 p.m. Chalk it on the board, time to sin, let's begin. Hey, you're kinda cute, and I got the loot to befriend both you and your girlfriend too.
You single Tim Jones?
Well, that depends. Just then she turned to a friend and she said,
I really like him.
Say word.
I really like him.
Oh yeah.
I really, 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 really like.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to JCT TV. I'm Papa T, and once again, always when entering into your world, we'd like to give you a great big salutation of peace and appreciation. For without you, there is no us. And opening always, we'd like to give Big Al, the director in the back, a great big salutation. Big Al, how's it going? Want to also give a great big shout out to the folks we have in the house on deck today to make it do what it do. We have none other than Jose Coco Velez of the television show World by Coco. It can be viewed right here at Sky 13 on Friday nights, 10:30 p.m. So make sure you tune into that. We're going to be doing a special rendition today as we enter into the segment Real to Real, and you'll hear me talking to Jose a little bit more about his show and defining a little bit about what it does do, and hopefully have you tune in a little bit on Friday nights. With that being said, the Entertainers Roundtable today should be interesting. We have the topic of music for change, and we should be able to jump into that from a whole lot of different angles. Hopefully you enjoy it and utilize this data that we bring to you to process for your daily needs throughout the week. And I'm going to jump out your way and allow Jose Coco Velez to come over and bring you JCT's entertainment news. And I'll see you hopefully somewhere along the course of the show. Papa T, y'all.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jose here with your JCT Entertainment News. The Little House on the Prairie movie project has landed itself at Paramount Studios. The adaptation of the iconic TV series was previously in development at Sony, which picked it up in 2012 with Scott Rudin attached to produce. The title was put into turnaround last year. Now the package includes filmmaker Sean Durkin to direct. Little House aired on NBC from 1974 to 1983 and starred Michael Landon as the patriarch of a family living in 1880s American Midwest. The show was known for its wholesome values and was a loose adaptation of the classic series of children's books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, who based it on her own childhood. Kendrick Lamar quietly dropped a secret album, untitled Unmastered, Thursday night. The unannounced album was released on iTunes first. It is expected to be released on other platforms later. It's unclear whether the official release was forced by Spotify after apparently leaking the artwork and track list that same Thursday night. His 2015 masterpiece, To Pimp a Butterfly, was also released more than a week early. Each of the 8 tracks on Untitled Unmastered has a specific date associated with it, covering the years of 2013, 2014, and 2016, perhaps suggesting the recording dates of them. Elusive street artist Banksy may have been unmasked by mathematics. Scientists have applied a type of modeling used to track down criminals and map disease outbreaks to identify the graffiti artist, whose real name has never been confirmed. The technique, known as geographic profiling, is used by police forces to narrow down lists of suspects by calculating multiple crime sites where the offender most likely lives. The researchers used the location of 140 Banksy artworks in London and Bristol, England. Writing in the Journal of Spatial Science, they said the artworks are associated with sites linked to one prominent candidate. His name, Robin Gunningham, previously named in media reports as Banksy. The artist's satirical stencils, flower-tossing rioters, Olympic ring thieves, and I Love New York pieces first appeared on walls in Bristol before spreading to London and then around the world. His works have fetched as much as $1.8 million at auctions. "We're fishing where there's fish," says Susan Daniels of YouTube's new subscription service, YouTube Red. The former president of MTV and now serves as global head of original content at YouTube explains their leap into premium programming, stating that YouTube isn't attempting to imitate Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon, which offer films and shows rivaling traditional Hollywood content. "We're working with top creators to do something that they normally wouldn't do on their own channel." The streaming site is attempting to make some noise of its own with a crop of films and shows that will be exclusively available to YouTube Red, which launched last October. This new focus shows the power of YouTube to build certain stars to a certain level so that other major networks and platforms become interested in working with them. Thank you for tuning in to JCT TV's Entertainment News. Stay tuned for more.
What's going on, JCT TV? It's your boy Marzu here at the round table, and I got a few people with me. This man here is a longtime friend. It's always good to see him here, Marv Kendall. Marv, how you doing?
I'm good. How you?
All right. Doing well. And we got a lovely lady here as well. You can just address yourself.
My name is TT, and I'm new to the game.
Welcome. Welcome to JCT TV.
Welcome, TT.
And what we do here on the round table, we take different topics and we go into conversation about that. So for those that aren't necessarily informed, we can inform them right here on the round table. And so today's topic is the music for change, or music that does change. And so when you hear that, what do you guys think?
That music has a influence on people, like not just rap music. I'm a little older, but the history of music and everything like that, like say for instance, the whole Black Power movement back then, there was a lot of records that was out that, you know, motivated the people. And a lot of those days are gone.
And why do you think that is?
The powers that be didn't want the people to have that type of influence on the people as a whole. The worst thing you could do is get the people together and start loving themselves again. And then you put blaxploitation movies out there and stuff like that to change the dynamics of how people are actually thinking. So those records that were out there, they motivated people. Certain artists, they had what it took to say, "I love you, my brother. I love you, my sister." Now, I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know. It's a saturated market, but the soul is missing, and a real effort is missing when it comes down to artistry. I'm not a big fan of a lot of stuff that's out there today, but there's a few artists that are actually still trying to make a difference.
And it's just hard because of the mainstream. They're pushing a certain type of music and then the good artists that you hear about, they're not getting that radio play because of that reason.
Why is that?
That's a good question. That's something I'm trying to find out. And something that I want to ask you, TT, is that I just had this conversation with somebody coming here. She was saying that she loves R&B 90s music because it had this soul, it had this feeling to it. And we go to today's music, which is a completely different thing. At first it was love, now it's kind of...
It's more, now it's like, it's more sexuality, you know, it's more sexual. Back then it was like calm, you know, it's like they I don't know, it's like, I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but white people is changing everything, you know, basically. Because I mean, if you think about it, look at Lil Wayne, look at somebody from the '90s, and then look at the ones now. Look how he's dressing. You know, it's like, you know, music today is something else. You know, and the kids is.
Oh man.
And the kids is listening to this, and then
so
they
influenced by the music.
they are influenced by it, and then especially where they dress and all that. I mean, it's crazy. It's like I wouldn't want my child to really listen to today's music. I'd rather for her to listen to the '90s, you know, and the '80s music. The 2012, I mean, from 2012 to now, it's like. They got this thing called Illuminati, you know, all that stuff. Like, that's crazy. And your kids are sitting there watching that stuff. Like, I wouldn't want my kids to watch none of that stuff or listen to it, you know, in that matter. But, you know, when they get older, they're going to end up listening to it anyway.
And there was this picture that I ran into a couple months ago. It said 90s R&B music makes you want to marry a woman. Today's music makes you want to cheat on your girl.
Yeah.
It kind of has that.
Because if you look at it, like, video wise, like, okay, back then it was more, you know, y'all more likely together, you know, it's the music is like there, but now it's like, okay, hoes and tricks and all that stuff, like, okay, these women thinking that's what they are. So, you know, for a man to sit there, a good man at that, sees that, then they're gonna look at her like, okay, she's a piece of trash, so I'm gonna treat her like this and I'm gonna cheat on her, you
and
know?
I know for a lot of the music that it's more exposed, pretty much, like the meaning that's in it. A lot of the old songs had it, but it kind of took a critical mind to know what it was saying.
Right.
Like there was one song by what's these guys called? Next. You're making it hard.
Yeah,
That song.
real close. You know what that's
real
about.
close.
Yeah.
You know what it's about. But I just found out like a couple years ago what they were actually talking about. I was listening to it.
That's because even the club scene has changed.
Yeah.
You know, I come from the club era where toward the end of the night, there was a slow song coming on. Late 80s, the 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. There was a slow song coming on where you actually got a chance to dance slow with a young lady or a young man. Now, the club starts bumping from whenever, and then they bump and they say, okay, this is the last record, but it's a hyped up record. So it's the music influences people. Like I was talking to a relative of mine, he's from the old school, and we were talking about Sam Cooke. Now, a change is gonna come. And some of the Marvin Gaye records, but that change is gonna come record, when they put that in the Malcolm X movie, you can actually visualize that whole Malcolm X thing and entity by that one record. Now these records don't relate to nothing. And you know what I mean? And I've been playing this music game for a minute. So when you're listening to it, it's like I was in the studio yesterday and you go track for track. And the whole track, they really said nothing. There was no message in there except about knocking off a chick. You know, and I'm like, well, okay, if you say so. But I always tell people you cannot know where you're going unless you know where you come from.
All right. And there was a point where I was reading something and it said a lot of the greatest songs, they just repeat what they're saying in the song, which is
That's right.
Which makes it really catchy.
Subliminal messages and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like even with rock and roll, you know, you can hear certain songs from yesterday and you'd be like, wow, that's a hot record. I like that.
But it was out a long time ago.
That's right.
Because the funny thing about that, I have these two vinyls. I have Captain and Tennille, which is an old group in the past. And they was playing Shop Around. And then I had Smokey Robinson and I forgot what the rest of the group is called.
And the Miracles.
And the Miracles. They were playing the same song. And I didn't know that until I heard the lyrics. They just changed one word.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was the same song.
Same song.
And they changed the message and
Smokey Robinson's still probably getting paid for it.
still getting paid for it.
But
And so what we're gonna do now, I didn't mean to cut you off,
okay.
We gotta go into another segment. This is The Real, and we will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Papa T back at you once again with nothing other than the truth as we sit here upon the visual broadcast of Real to Real.
Hello, sir.
This is Jose Coco Velez, and he's the executive producer for World by Coco.
Yes.
World by Coco airs at Sky 13 because you know we air in different states as far as JCT TV.
Right.
So you folks who are looking to actually see World by Coco that's not tuned into Frontier or either Comcast, you know which hours and where you can view Coco. There's a website that's associated with it as well.
Hey, you can visit Coinfinity Media. That's
Okay.
more of a little different, but you know, you could contact me there.
Okay, because it's actually diversity that you bring to the table when you produce your show, and it's 10:30 p.m. on Sky Cable, right?
Right.
Friday
right
nights.
here. Yeah, Friday nights, 10:30.
Okay.
Just when everybody, hopefully, well, when the DJ's playing that last Get Crunk song, I might be just coming on. So.
Okay, okay. Because you follow what? Do that?
Yeah, I come right after to do that.
And you know you folks are already looking to do that. Don't flip it off because you're used to flipping off and walk away. Stay in there and get a visual aspect of rare purity from none other than Mr. Coco.
Thank you, thank you. It's diverse little things that I put in there, little segments that I feel like other shows aren't really putting up there. So
Okay.
I took a chance to get in there and fill in that gap.
Okay. And do you feel comfortable with your production?
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement. That's everyday life. Every day we learn and we
Okay.
grow. If you're not learning something or you didn't learn something today, then you didn't have a day.
Indeed. Now, I know that you believe in that process, Kanai. It was an Asian concept, and we've discussed it many times. Robin, what's his name? He was counselor to and motivator to some of the presidents. But he, Anthony Robbins.
Anthony Robbins. That's what
Yeah,
I
and
was
he
thinking.
actually adapted that from the Asians. And Kanai actually stands for constant and never-ending improvement.
Okay.
So I know that you were on that process. you
Yeah,
know.
I believe so.
Okay.
We always want to improve.
Indeed. And if you folks don't believe that, this is a good reason for you to tune into his show and actually go and see if from week to week he actually improves till he reaches perfection. And even then, you got to continue to grow because that's what makes God God. It's infinity, right?
Word. Oh, Confinity Media. You know, I came here as a musician, so doing the
Indeed.
video is a little bit different. There's a different thought process that has to go into it. So
Okay.
that's definitely something I want to conquer, get into.
Indeed, indeed. And I actually had an opportunity to view one of the segments, and actually two of them, and it was improvement.
Thanks.
You know.
Thank you.
So, but the thing is, what motivates you when you're actually producing your show?
For me, it's what goes on in my mind throughout the week. Like, I would take notes throughout the day, whether I be at work or wherever, and I'm like, well, that's a good segment, or just an idea, and I'll write it down. And I see which thoughts in my head were most prominent throughout the week.
Okay.
And then I try to touch on that some way, either through music, through some kind of video, maybe a message, something, in order for me to learn myself a little bit and at the same time teach some other people who may be going through something similar.
Beautiful. You know me, I believe in a deep believer in the mind. So, and the powers that be with it, that everything basically is mind over matter. So the thing is that the first time that I saw your show, I was like, whoa, that's Jose's mind. Because we've communicated so many times in the past. I said, that's his mind because you were taking him through different dimensions. And I was like, whoa, but it's beautiful the way that you're able to actually make that transcend onto visual arts.
Thank
You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I'm still new to it, so it was kind of hard for me to, how am I going to represent this thought? Because
Okay.
sometimes some images don't reflect the thought.
Okay.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
It's
well, you know I get
well, yeah, well, you get
oh,
it.
shit.
But it's a little bit deeper because not every thought has a exact image to it. There may be
Right.
a group of images or just something else that goes with it, or maybe just a sound. You know, how can
Indeed.
I represent a sound in a video for people to see it?
Indeed. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's so beautiful because I actually see it transcending, you know, and I'm like, go ahead, Jose, you're actually doing it because some people can attempt to do that. Some people do it without realizing that that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
you know, because they're operating out of the subconscious regions of their mind, you know, and then some people are digging a little bit deeper because they're a little bit more aware, right? But the thing is, most people don't utilize like the majority of the assets or capabilities they have with being able to process thought. You You know, and that's what I see you doing on your show. You're actually processing Jose Coco's thoughts. And when you said World by Coco, I was like, whoa, go ahead. Initially, when I first saw the title, it said Word by Coco. I was like, whoa, okay, let's see what he's going to do. And then when you flipped the script and actually said World by Coco, I said, now we're talking.
Right.
Because that is your little world in there. I see the shows that I've seen. And I intend to tune in probably next Friday.
Yeah, I hope so.
And give the folks an opportunity to join with me, and then we come back and we may talk about it a little bit more and see if you're still making that transcendental process.
I'm gonna be pushing at it. I'm glad you mentioned the title World by Coco, because when somebody hears it, they may think of like, well, a world by Coco, or what does it mean? But it's world by Coco, the way Coco sees it.
The way Coco sees it, indeed.
You know, or not even, that's not even the full picture of what I see, but that's just, like I said, some of the thoughts I go through and just having some fun with the things that I like.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real here at Real to Real with World by Coco.
Thank you, sir.
And the thing is, we're going to go over to a short clip from one of his shows to show you what we mean. And then we'll return to the round table.
Step into a world where there's no one.
I'm in love with the 4-4. I'm in love. I'm in love with the 4-4.
There's three main sectors of the economy. The first one is the real basic stuff, the things that we get from the earth, like fishing, farming, mining, living in that life. A lot of the ancient civilizations were based on that. You know, just gathering, hunter-gatherers, growing the food for the village and all that, which is a very basic way of living and stripped down to bare essentials. You have to get up and go to work, and you had to really work in order for you to live, because if you weren't out there in the field, your things ain't gonna grow. If your things don't grow, you can't feed your family or yourself. So, very raw life. As civilization developed, they ended up using those things that they got from the earth, from the mining or whatever, and that ended up turning into the second sector of the economy, which is the manufacturing. So that's like, you know, the boom of the industrialization, the industrial age, factories, blacksmiths, the metals that they were using, coal mining for the steam engines and the trains and all that. Yeah, that's the second one. Doing all those things to make a product, something that people need. You know, as the civilization starts to expand, you need stronger building materials, you need stronger whatever it is for the people in order for it to keep growing and everyone to be sustained. Go down a little bit more further down the way, you have the third sector, which is services, entertainment, things like that. The services are important because these are the people who would do like banking, finances, the cinemas, theaters and things like that. All the services to help people, either help them with their own businesses or their own life in order to make their life a little bit easier. I'm on the round table.
We're back like snapbacks, fitted caps, and do-rag flaps.
What? Snapbacks are back?
Do-rag flap with the flap open.
Oh, you leave it open, don't tie it?
I don't do that no more, but that's just me though. But prior to the Real to Real, and big shouts to the Golden One. I'm gonna call you the Golden One because that's
thanks.
when that came up.
I haven't heard that in a minute.
The Golden One. We were going into the music for change.
Yeah.
And
music.
Marv, before that, you were going to this point. Mm-hmm. Can you just get back to that?
Well, what I was looking at was the powers that be, what they call the Illuminati now, which is if you put a title on something and people see that it gets people's attention, you're gonna run with it. I don't buy into a lot of that. But what I do know is the powers that be, just like with the movie Straight Outta Compton came out. What they were trying to do was change the dynamics, because before NWA, there was Public Enemy, and then here comes NWA. Boom, let's slide them in and show the turmoil. Like there's a song on Dre's album called Animal. When you go back and listen to that record, what he's basically saying is the cameras don't come on when we're doing good, but when everything is in chaos, if we got problems in our community, that's when the cameras come on. Like you don't hear about some of the good things and charities and stuff like that. So this is preconceived, and this is the programming of our people, the dumbing down and whatnot by the music.
That's exactly what it is. It's programming, because music was something to bring people together. Like if you want to go back to the old times and Native Indians or the real primitive cultures, music only was when you get together. And so what better way to change a society or civilization is to incorporate some music, something that's going to get them moving together. Now they're all harmonized, and with throwing those subliminals. Like you mentioned subliminals a little bit. So yeah, music is the way to do it. And the club, everybody wants to go. You work all week, so you want to go have a good time. You don't care what's playing, just have a good time. The drinks obviously are going to affect you, but now you don't really care. But your mind knows what's coming into it. Your mind knows what the words are, even though you're not listening directly. And it gives you, just like you were saying, they don't play the slow song at the end. Now they end it with the bang, bang, bang song. So then you wake up in the morning and 2 people were shot over the night.
But that goes to, like, there's not to promote this documentary, but it's called Rumble Kings. Rumble Kings and the Warriors and stuff like that during the 70s in New York, they were fighting. There was a gang here, gang there, gang there. During the time, during the change when the hip hop and everything started coming out, you had a couple of those gang members that were artists, and they started playing music and having block parties. So what that was doing is breaking down that whole gang warfare and stuff like that by music. And these guys, there's a lot of records that they have put out and stuff like that. And when you listen and look back, you're like, well, okay, so these people during the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of riots. So you figure, okay, how can we control these people? How can we control the so-called quote unquote majority? Music. So they realized the music was something that's an element that controls us. So how do you get to them? Television, you take the books away and influence the music. You influence the music, you put garbage out there.
And also the way to infiltrate it, you're not just the music, but that affects it. Yeah. Because your main structure is like your family. When it comes to anything, I got my family's back. That's my bro. So if you could break down the family, that's the way to really get in there. So when my culture, the Puerto Ricans, there's a lot of the older music, like what my grandparents used to listen to, was about love or like slower things. And love is something that's like where the main energy comes from. That's the creative power and all that. So if you affect the sexual energy, now you're really going to throw things into catastrophe, if you want to say, maybe. So you see the women, or the women see these other women when they listen to the reggaeton and they just twerking, and women think that's the only thing that a man wants is that. But in a relationship, it's got to be much more deeper than that, especially when you grow in a family. It's not just sex.
And just going back to the club scene you were saying, it's definitely weird how it is now. Yeah. You were saying that they played the R&B song for the end. Now they just play the straight hard music all the way through.
But nobody holds the DJ accountable. Word. If they held the DJ accountable and that DJ really cared about the people instead of the paycheck, he would do what he's supposed to do. Yeah. And that's to take the audience from here to here to here to there to there, and then take them out the door.
My question, whose fault is that? The DJs or the person that hired the DJ?
I think it's a little bit of both, but the DJs that don't really know the art of music and what's going on, because they should know that the music that they're playing affects the people, not just to get them. That's, of course, when you're the star, and now the DJs are the new stars of the era. Of course, when you're the star, you want people to get hype and remember you some way, but you have to have some kind of process to it and know the way it affects it. You understand what I mean, sort of?
Like hiring a wedding DJ. You're going to tell them what you want to hear and everything. But when you hire a club DJ, it's kind of different because you're hoping that DJ has some sort of following that will, I used to promote. So you would hope that he has some kind of following that would actually draw the people in. But, then I was working with one DJ. He played stuff that he wanted to hear, not what the people wanted to hear. You know what I mean? So music is a level of control. Yeah. Music, education, the prison system, and stuff like that. So even in the system now, what they're doing is they're letting them buy MP3s. They buy MP3 players and they buy songs for $1 or whatever. Yeah. And they can buy albums now. So you see the dynamics changing because a lot of these guys, they got the earphones on and they're listening to music. They're listening to what they want to listen to. And it changes the dynamics in a lot, man. It's like if you ride around and listen to Fight the Power all day, I guarantee you'll be angry by 5 o'clock. Guarantee. But it's angry in a positive way, but I guarantee you'll be angry.
And Public Enemy is one of them groups that was making their music in order to initiate some kind of change.
Exactly.
Because I think Chuck D even said that there wasn't enough rappers talking about the political situation that was going on. So
look
that's
at what they did to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, well, that's like the Black Panther Party, like the statement that Beyonce made for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that one.
About the Black Panthers and...
There wasn't nothing wrong with that. And she never really disrespected the police indirectly, even in the video. The sinking cop car, that was New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina. So they turned it into something that it really wasn't. And by her people coming out there in those outfits and stuff like that, and when you listen to people and they talk about the Black Panther Party, same as then. When you look at the songs that were out during that time, and you listen to those songs, like for instance, I was watching Unsung with what's his name, the Taylor guy. He was on Sam Cooke's label. And the stuff that he was talking about, and then you go back to, like I said, the blaxploitation movies and stuff like that, they were impacting the people.
Just real quick before we head off, do you think it's too late in order for these artists and musicians to really put some thought into the thing and really make music for change, for the better? Or
no, you could always make that change at any point. It's just you have to change your mindset.
But what I mean is make a living off of it, like be able to sell the record, and because now it's all fluff and whatever the industry really wants.
Well, it's possible. It's possible, but people have to realize that it's not about getting a record deal anymore. It's not about that record. It's not about that loan. So that way, more people have more control over their music now. I was out there when there was no computers. Everybody with a computer has a record label now. You know what I mean? We have more control over what we're putting out now.
So at the end of the day, you make a good song and it's gonna be good and it's gonna go where it's supposed to go.
You have to push it where you want it to go.
Okay.
And so at the end of the day, you just gotta do what's best for you as the artist. And a lot of people did it for the passion. Now it seems like they're doing it for some money.
Yeah. It's still like a misperception, man, because you figure if a label says, look, I'm going to give you a G, I'm going to give you a mil to sign with us. That's a loan. And then you wonder, why I ain't got no money?
So right now we're going to go to the video CT Raps, and then we'll be back with the Good to Go, No Go segment.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back on the round table. Welcome to the round table, Papa T.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was intrigued with you guys' conversation. I enjoyed you on Real to Real.
Oh, thank you for that.
It was really had me intrigued sitting down there. I was like, whoa, I'm in the right place today to sit back, listen to these gentlemen go ahead and elaborate, and the young lady TT that was here. Everybody contributed and actually brought it up to the level where it need to be. You know, because I keep saying here at JCT TV and anywhere I possibly can, that the only way for an issue to get resolved, it has to be seriously addressed. As long as you're pussyfooting with it and trying to pretend it doesn't exist, it's never going to be resolved. And there's just too many issues out there that haven't been resolved.
Right. Like not wanting to put attention to something can damage it more.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
just
sir. Yes, sir.
Neglect. You're trying
Because
to neglect
it's seriously escalating. When you look at the way things are, it's a situation now where you have a matter of about 9 months, and President Obama will be out of office. But people can't wait to the point that they're willing to hire an intelligent moron to run their country just to have this black man out of office. And that's incredible. And it perpetuates some other issues in people who are in the know and willing to be knowledgeable enough to express what's truly going on. That has to be really eating at some people. That this late date and time where the planet is about to literally be destroyed, and they believe that it's at the hands of God, but it's by their own hands because of their own greed and ignorance that they're destroying the planet for everybody.
Bars.
Yeah, bars for life. You know what that means when we say bars?
Bars.
Yeah. Yo, Papa T got bars, yo.
For real. That's a quote right there.
But at any rate, everything is all good, and we need to keep the balance in there when we're addressing these issues, and keep love. For love is the highest elevation of understanding, whether good or bad. Still have the love in the midst, and you'll keep that balance so that peace exists in resolving the issue.
So how can, because you're a man of music as well,
Yes,
and I
sir.
know you're very educated in it, how can the listeners as a group contribute to making a better place through the music?
Well, I definitely believe that music has been created in that genre, that whereas that it's hardcore music, whether it's hardcore negative or positive, because everything I always tell everyone here is addressed on the level of positive and negative. So that music is out there. Don't smash them. Just go out and create more positive music, right? Like the brother was saying earlier, Clockwork. He was saying at the end of the day that you were actually going out and playing something to calm the folks before they leave out, so you don't hear about that gunplay at the end of the night because everybody is still amped up. It used to be a thing that you couldn't play a certain music to a certain level or decibels, and if you did, you had to bring it down.
Oh, that's changed.
That was a law, but that, as he said, has changed.
That's definitely changed.
And that's a negative impact, and where it mostly impacts is the inner cities.
Because even with the slow music, subtly it'll kind of tell you it's time to bounce.
Yeah, you get into a love groove. You know what I mean?
I went to this fashion show.
honey.
I went to this after party for a fashion show, and so it was like 1:30. It was like 12:30, and they were saying, "Oh, it's time to go, time to go." So we sitting out on the couches, and I'm thinking, "Oh, we leaving." I go back and check, the party's still going.
Wow.
And I'm thinking,
Wow.
I thought it was over, and it went for like another hour. Or
Because
so.
this is a young old soul right here.
Man.
This gentleman, you can put on some Billie Holiday or something, and he's in this mode. I'm like, hey, how you get there? Jose, he's another one, right? I mean, I take him underneath my wing, and it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? These gentlemen have really established. This gentleman now, he has his own radio show.
I appreciate that.
He comes on here, he does
Takes the
well.
time.
You know what I'm saying? He takes a lead at hosting. Jose is fantastic at hosting, as well as these gentlemen are great in editing, shooting, video, doing all the rest of that. That's what needs to be done. Those youngsters need to be taken up underneath the wings of the elderly and the older, and actually show them that there's a different direction rather than that negative music that they listen to.
Yeah, I think many of the older people are, I don't know if they're afraid to say something to the younger people, but
yeah, because the young people shoot them, slap them, whatever. But the thing is that you got to stand up somewhere before we all, well, we're doomed already. But the thing is, like you said, is there opportunity of reverse? You can reverse it, but the thing is that it has to be done. Talk is cheap, action take the street.
And
make it happen.
I find it crazy how sometimes the truth can be so, as real as it is, some people can't take it. Mm-hmm.
And they just say, the older people in my generation used to say, if the truth hurts you, let it kill you. But with that being said, this is what keeps people from killing people. Music, like the music we bring to you. I mean, we bring you a variety of different music on Good to Go, No Go.
Oh yeah.
Right? But the aspect is to give you an opportunity to make your own determinations, what you like, because we show you there's options. And without options, we're all doomed. Right? And these are some of the options, Good to Go, No Go, their favorite say.
So speaking of the Good to Go, No Go segment, what we do here, we take different tracks and we list them as a Good to Go, No Go. And then we give a little definition as to why we gave it that reason. So in that being said, we'll go right into
the first artist, which is Eugene from the Third Floor Session.
I'm installing a bar, an excuse to work hard. I draw a truce, I'm not used to being so far from what I hate, who I love. I hope I'm a part of the picture in a few.
I want to send it down the hill, or
I
you want to
I'll
take it, Jose?
Yeah, man. Right off the rip, I hear a reverse Kurt Cobain. The voice and the style sounds Kurt Cobain, but he's speaking on like a little bit more than that. I would like to hear more. I'll give it a good go right off the rip.
Okay. Wazoo?
I did get a Kurt Cobain type of feel with it. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but it's always good to have some tea every once in a while. So me, I give it a no-go just because I'm not really into that music. But if I give it some time, I'll probably change my perspective on it.
Okay. Well, with me, simply because of the portion that we heard, I'm not sure where in the CD that the music was drawn from, but I'll give it a no-go because I just totally didn't understand what the heck was going on. It could be my current physical medical condition, but I just didn't know what the heck was going on. So on that note right there, no-go. But we're going to jump directly into the next artist, and then we're going to elaborate on it. I'm gonna throw this down to Mazu and see where we go.
I give it a good to go from the fact that once the music came on, I seen Clockwork tapping his foot, TT tapping her foot, I was tapping my foot, and it brings to that time where it's just like it's the music, and that's all you're hearing is the music,
right?
And then I like it, and of course respect,
No doubt.
So good to go.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a good to go. The voice is real distinct. There's no voice like that. I like the like it just got right as soon as it started. It's good to go. And then the sound, like it's not like today's music is too crisp and too overproduced. This one, like it sounds like they're in there having fun, and I like that. The little nuances of the raw recordings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm definitely going to give it a good to go. That was none other than the legendary Otis Redding, and so it had to be a good to go. Right, but these gentlemen didn't know exactly who that was before it came on, but I saw them in there, them young spirits with the older spirits back there, just like, oh, this is us.
So what that does for me, it gives me time to go out there and listen to it.
Outstanding. Because he does that. He'll hear a particular artist's name and he'll go and he'll jump on it when he leaves here. He come back and say, I listen to it.
Because the voice sounded familiar, I just couldn't put the exact name.
Okay, word.
And so
now Otis Redding.
Now I got some homework to do.
Yeah. Very distinct, like Jose said. The next artist is none other than Sugar Fist with Jamazu Wavu.
Damn.
Work the freeway with my funky little freaks. The fast bony beats and a butter cheese. Double the groom down in London, my groove. Got my halo shoes and my monk ass too. My monkey shoes.
stole this one to Jose.
I
know you was ready.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna give it a no-go. Not because I think it's bad. It's not my style, but it's just a few different things in there that, I don't know, it sounded like almost two different songs put together, and then it sounded a little bit too popish or cheesy. With the name like Sugarfish, I thought it was gonna be like rock, like metal rock, but I don't know, it didn't grab me like that, so I had to give it a no-go.
You pretty much just took the words out of my mouth. It's just it did change. I don't know if that was the middle of the song or the beginning, but it kind of just took this crazy turn, and I was expecting more of a, bang,
go
bang.
in.
And when you have a name like Sugarfish, I'm expecting
make it do what it do.
But hey, it's a no-go for me, and it's not my style either.
Now this is rare for me that you get two no-goes out of me on one segment, but I'm gonna have to give it that because it made sense in the beginning, and then it went somewhere else, right? And then just as I was settling in there, said, yeah, I can give this a good go, he took me somewhere else, right? So like Jose was saying, you said two dimensions, but I'm going to use a word that's used a lot by Clockwork team, and that's variables. Too many variables was in there for one song.
And
right?
one thing,
so no go.
I think the song's good if you're looking for, like if you're doing a talk show, like one of those weekly
something
type
crazy,
shows,
something that's
it kind of has that sound for it.
Yeah, something that's diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I give it, for that I give it a go, but
right.
Not for my
right,
pleasure,
not for listening music, just yes.
I wouldn't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have two tracks that we're going to pull a little bit of data from it this time, and if Big Al will comply with me, that's from the house of Clockwork himself. That's why he's not sitting on the panel, and he's a musical expert.
What time is it? Clockwork.
Clockwork.
Still praying that I get there. With God on my side, I'm moving no fear. Devil's got me trapped looking like a bad guy, but I gotta stay strong, so I try. Say a prayer every day and every night. Ask the Lord for forgiveness, please keep me right. Don't wanna do wrong, not a perfect man. I know you see it in my heart, I know you understand. Cold sweat, bad dreams, call them nightmares. Hide behind my shades, I see the evil stares. Some say stand still, let the river run. Many blessings have came, number one, my son. Dark days have come, no way out. I wasn't part of the plan, what's it all about?
Okay, I'm gonna twist this one to my zoo first.
This is the kind of music that doesn't get its appreciation because it's not getting, you're not listening to the lyrics, but if you sit down and listen to it, it's talking about, finding that relationship with God, if I'm not mistaken. That's that's what, we're trying to get.
Definitely.
And I give it a go just from the meaning itself.
Okay.
And I did like the lady singing in the beginning.
There you go. Okay.
So,
I liked it. Definitely, I'm gonna give it a good go after rip. Just like you said, the lyrics are going towards something more important. You're trying to find a relationship with the higher power. So I think the production-wise, it's on point. It blended. I like the beat to it, and Clockwork's lyrics are like right on time with it. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So to me, it fits, and I give it a good go.
Okay. Once again, Clock definitely rode the waves, which is what I call it. You know what I mean? Meaning that the vocals are right on point as far as the track itself. Right? And the thing is, you were drawn in immediately because if you know music at all, that was a common beat and then started off. So you were like, let me see where to go, and then he took it off somewhere else as far as the beat itself. But his vocals alone kept you impacted into the music, so that there's, again, a contribution to production. So we're going to give it a good to go.
Yeah, one thing that was, because it went from a smooth, those ladies singing. Then I heard Clockwork. It was a real big drastic change.
That's like balance, like what you said earlier. It gives it.
But other than that, I
did. Gotta have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a second track of Big Al Will from that same CD.
Get down. Pull a resume so you can see what you'll be dealing with. I never left, so I won't say I'm back at it. Got married to the shit, that's why the logos tatted. Made moves in many places, rocked in many states. I don't really have to level, so watch your neck. I make your best rapper look like he.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll start with Papa T this time. You've been giving, you've been giving it to us all these songs.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a second track from Team Clockwork. I'm definitely have to give a good to go. I love it because it just shows that we're definitely in compliance and alliance within the universe, because that record came in there, Change. And today's topic is music for change, and he didn't know what my topic was when he decided he was going to suspend his music. So it shows that we're in alliance as far as making some change out there. And you guys are definitely representatives of that as well. But then he came in, he threw that other joint in there, and it just helped it to pop a little bit, you know, take it not to another dimension, but in compliance with the Change joint from Sam Cooke, right? And you know his lyrics was on time.
Oh,
So I give it good to go. Good to go, definitely.
I have to give it a good to go. There's the main reasons why we talked a little bit about Public Enemy. We mentioned it, and that's what I heard in there because, like I said, today's music sometimes is too overproduced. It's too much. But that one gave it a little bit. This might be just a millisecond off beat, but it gives it that what you need. It gives it a little something different, and then Clockwork's lyrics is on there, and that sounds good. So I'm rocking with it, yo. I like it. I like the little different pieces on there.
And that millimeter, I heard it.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it's not doesn't make it a bad thing.
Right.
It's just a matter because a lot of the old Public Enemy stuff, it was a lot of it was offbeat. They were putting stuff together and they wanted that different sound, and that takes you to a different level.
Beautiful.
I gave it a good to go. I like the sample. You know, Change Gonna Come, and it kind of set the tone for the whole song.
Indeed.
And then from there, you kind of just know what it's about from there.
Indeed.
And you kind of get this positive vibe from it. So
Beautiful.
I give it a good to go.
Outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out with the last track from Rain.
Do you feel like I feel low? I'm captured. The music's got me feeling light as a feather. Let the groove just move right through you. Get up and dance, y'all jam, y'all do whatever. It's so much going down all over. Sometimes you gotta sit back.
We mentioned like the eras where we feel like a music came from. What do you feel like that one is in?
Listening to the lyrics and the beat, late 90s, early 2000s.
I was thinking mid 90s for me. What do you think?
I know. That's where it came from. So, tell me, good to go, no go.
I give it a go. I like that song. It was, I don't know if there was if there's a video and it had Rain in it, but I did like the track, and it kind of brings you to that zone where there was peace and a time where it's just music. You're making the music, and
There you go.
and
There you go.
it's not overproduced. It's just
Indeed.
your beat, your lyrics, you put them together, and you get
Indeed.
your song.
Indeed.
I give it a good.
I could hear it like in a movie or something, like a certain scene where maybe they're talking, two people are talking, or a scene where somebody's doing their daily work to get to their main goals. I don't know. For some reason, I hear it in a movie, but I give it a good to go. Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Now, with that being said, we're going to reflect back on something that was said during the round table as far as music for change. The DJs, you definitely have the skills to do this because we do it on the round table. We do our best every week. They're exiting in a spirit of love. We went a few different places with music as far as today, right? But we're exiting with love, and that goes back to what Clark said earlier. You play something to mellow the people out, to exit with, right? So once again, I'm going to give Rain a good to go because she exited us out of good to go, no go on a positive note with love and peace. And you said that's what you heard in there, right?
I see what you did there. You ain't
And
low.
this again was arranged
You ain't low,
before
Papa T.
Clark even
I
came
saw
on the
what you
panel.
did. Real subtle, but I saw
Yes,
what you did.
sir. Yes, sir. All right, so you guys want to say anything important? I really enjoyed you gentlemen today. I enjoyed Clockwork Team. You heard me mention their name a million times. The lovely TT. You're going to see a lot more of her. And I really appreciate you guys, and tell them where they can tune into your shows.
I'm here, JCT Television, World by Coco. Thank you, sir, for having me on Real to Real and on the Round Table.
Yes, sir.
You know, coinfinitymedia.com.
And of course, the Marzu Show I do it in New Britain, CCSU.
Yes, sir.
Every Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Great.
It's on career development. I bring in different guests to come in and talk about what they do.
Indeed.
So if anybody's interested in that career path, they have the tools to be successful. And of course, Twitter, IG, Snap, MKARZU. If you can find me on one, you can find me across the board. Always positive, never negative, because what goes up does not come down. The laws of science have been broken in that nature, so be careful what you do, because you may not get that JOB. That's my little thing I do at the Marzu Show.
Outstanding. Outstanding. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. It's been a pleasure. Pop T out. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the show this evening. As in always, it's a pleasure bringing you the information and entertainment as well to supply, hopefully, some useful data for you to process for your needs throughout the course of the week. We want to thank all of our guests that was in the house today and look forward to entering back into your world next week. As in part and always, we say success awaits us. Keep it coming, folks.
Two-tone L-E-L-N-E-S-S-N, yes, we are the very best.
$7 popping collars, eating shrimp by the dollar. Met some girls from Guatemala, now they trying to holler.
Now before they wouldn't bother, now I'm trying to be a scholar, cause she giving all the knowledge to me.
Knowledge to me.
Doing homework every night of the week.
Night of the week.
Like she chillin' up at college with me.
College with me, but we cruising, man. Rolling up at 430. Kush same color as a Kobe Road jersey, or a throwback worthy. Giraffe ass high, fresh breeze just passing us by. Cause I'm cruising on a Sunday afternoon. I got my good shoes on, ain't got no bad news. Here's what you say to the lady. Let me squeeze you, let me hold you, let me squeeze you, let me hold you. Why? Cause I don't wanna leave this party, baby, without you. What you waiting for? Hop in the ride.
Okay.
What you waiting for? Hop in the ride. So I arrive at a party at 9. I reside beside Sim, think when we fly. Time's on our side, but look again, then it's 11 p.m. Chalk it on the board. Time to sin. Let's begin. Hey, you're kinda cute, and I got the loot to befriend both you and your girlfriend too.
You single Tim Jones?
Well, that depends. Just then she turned to a friend and she said,
I really like him.
Say word.
I really like him.
Oh,